Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to your Steeler Nation Vidcast here on Tuesday nights. You voted for it, chose to have it 7 o'clock Tuesday nights after Mike Tomlin's presser, obviously. Lots of stuff to talk about today. Most of the stuff, obviously, coming from the presser. A lot of injury updates that we got. The first one that we did not hear about from the game was an interesting one, and that's Chris Kunitz. Chris Kuntz, not Kunitz. Chris Kuntz is now has a hip injury. We're not sure how serious it is. He was hurt in the game. He finished the game. He's going to be evaluated this week. Obviously, Pat Freiermuth got a concussion last game. He's in concussion protocol. He has to be able to clear or be symptom-free to practice, number one. So have to be symptom-free after practice, clear the practice to get to the second stage of a concussion protocol. And then if he clears practice the next day, he's off a concussion protocol. So he's got a chance of coming off. Robert Spillane has a knee. He's obviously going to get that looked at. He's still being evaluated. Not sure the severity of Spillane's knee. Carlos Davis has an opportunity to come off of the injury report or off the IR window. He has a knee injury and he's been rehabbing from that, but Coach Tomlin said he's got a chance of coming back this week. Joe Hayden's got a chance of coming back this week. He missed the game last week. TJ Watt now is going to be a big question mark with his COVID situation going on. So don't know if he's going to be coming back this week, but at least they didn't rule him out. So the reason why they didn't rule him out, he's vaccinated. They ruled out Minka immediately. He was unvaccinated. 10 days after Minka had the positive test, he was allowed to come back because that is the rule for an unvaccinated player. TJ Watt is a 2 tests negative with no symptoms in a 48-hour period, and he's clear to play. Got a shot to play in this week. Not a bad thing, though, if he doesn't play. Obviously, he was not the TJ Watt that we're used to seeing on the field for that game. He wasn't running. He's getting double and triple teamed, and he's usually working through those double and triple teams. Couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it this past week. Looking forward to him getting a little healthier. If he's off this week, he will be a little healthier. Minka came back a little healthier as well. He got his interception in that game, but he couldn't do everything himself. And that secondary, man, did it need help. I don't know what James Pierre is doing on the other side. It was downright embarrassing him trying to guard Higgins in that game. Sutton did all right. And Edmonds is a guy. He's there. He brings really nothing exciting to the team. He's not going to make big tackles. Schobert led the team in tackles. Sure, he's got great numbers, around 12 tackles, but he's tackling most of his guys down the field, 6, 7, 8 yards down the field, turning and tackling. And you're not winning games when your inside linebacker's got to turn and tackle as opposed to come up and hit somebody. But at least he tackled people. What did Bush have, like 2 tackles? Inside linebacker should have minimum 6. I mean, especially the amount of time that they ran the ball that game on us, ran it down our throats. You had every opportunity to be able to tackle somebody in that game. Bush is finding new ways to kind of regress this season, which is really unfortunate because he's a heck of a talent. I really like Bush. I like what he can bring. I don't know if this is, I can't blame it on his being his IR and his injured, repaired knee anymore. I can't blame this on being his old groin anymore because right now he looks quick. He just doesn't have it between the ears, as Tomlin likes to say. I don't know what you guys see. Obviously, we got the comments are wide open, guys. This is your Vidcast, Steeler Nation, so we got to talk about it. Jeff, first hot take of the day coming from Jeff Sarka over on Facebook. Tomlin must go. Well, I'm not saying he's going to go yet, but right now I'm not happy with his performance, and he'll tell you the same. He'll tell you the damn same. Joe Young, Bush needs to go. All right, here we go. Now we get to vote. Who's going to go? Tomlin, Bush, vote. So, yeah, I wanted Spillane to be starting for Bush here during this interim period while we're still trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with Bush. Like, I can't explain it. But Spillane should be the guy in there starting. Problem is now, Spillane's got a knee injury. So who are you going to bring up? Ulysses Gilbert? You got to bring up freaking Allen, Marcus Allen to start now. Going to bring somebody off the practice squad. You're not in a good situation right now because Spillane was like starter capable. I'm 100% of Spillane needed to come in at either of those 2 inside linebacker spots, which he backed up both of them. But right now, if you're saying Bush has got to go, you're going to be taking a risk with UG3, you're going to be taking a risk with Marcus Allen, the old safety. So you let me know who you like better out of those two, Steeler Nation. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Jeffrey Totten over at Facebook. Dang, our defense needs to get tightened up. Yeah, that was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And the worst part, too, about watching this team, both times we played the Bengals, we played the worst football game we played this season. Albeit the first time we hit the Bengals, we were decimated. 6 starters off of the defense. We couldn't even compete with them. This past week, we're supposed to get everything locked back up. We're supposed to get our guys back. TJ's coming back. We got Minka coming back. Oh, everything's going to be good now. We're going to be fine. Nope. We got our butts kicked, and we got kicked at the line of scrimmage. Both lines of scrimmage kicked us in the nuts. It's unreal the way that we couldn't even get off of blocks. We couldn't hit angles or hit gaps, sustain lanes, sustain your gaps so you can make a tackle. It was just, it wasn't enjoyable for me to watch. I know it wasn't enjoyable for you to watch because there's nothing to root for. It's like the Cincinnati, the Chargers game the week before, 5 for 5 on their touchdown, on their scoring drives in the first half. Don't worry, we'll get that fixed game 2. We figured it out in the fourth quarter. We're scoring points now. This offense can put up points. Offense did jack. Couldn't even get a freaking yard. I mean, I'm watching other teams block, and I'm like, wow. It must be awesome to have a line that can block and your guy isn't getting hit till 3 or 4 yards down the field. Our guy's getting hit at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage every damn time. Is Kevin Dotson that good? Did he just destroy our entire offensive line from getting hurt? Maybe. He was one of our better players on the offensive line. He's one of our better players last year on the offensive line and should have been starting over Freiermuth, as we were talking about last week, Steeler Nation, on the vidcast. But man, the defense does have to tighten up. I do agree with you, Jeffrey. And I don't know how they fix that scheme. We're going up against a better rushing team this week. We were great when we came off our bye week. We couldn't defend the run. We got jammed in the run. We came off our bye week. We're facing Cleveland. What happens? Oh, crap. We're going to get wrecked by the run. No, we shut them down. We owned the line of scrimmage. Both sides. Offensively and defensively. We pushed them all over the mistake at the lake, that field, and made them feel that Big Brother came back into town. Steelers are back. Steelers are ready to block. Steelers can come after you at the running game and set it up now. Here we go. We're looking good moving forward. Then the next 3 games, ripping off yardage, some backup quarterback nobody's ever heard of coming out of freaking Chargers. Or not Chargers, the one before them. Game before. Chargers actually had a good running back. But still, and the Chargers hurt us with their damn quarterback, who's not a runner. He's not a running quarterback. Lamar Jackson's a running quarterback. How are we going to stop that this week? Commit a spy to him? Well, that's great. Let's commit a spy to Lamar Jackson because now we have an additional person that's not going to be playing the damn run. It's going to be watching Lamar Jackson. I don't know, man. It's going to. This is tough. This is tough for Steeler fans, guys. We're entering uncharted territory, and that's why I say Tomlin. He's going to take some heat because the standard is not the standard. The standard is substandard. We are not getting the best out of our players on the field. We got wide receivers saying, "Oh, we can fix it. All we got to do is play music at practice." Nah, Claypool, man, come on. I love you, Mapletron. Absolutely love you, Mapletron, but playing music at practice ain't gonna fix the technique that's going on here, tackling those aspects. The one thing that Tomlin did reiterate in the presser today, he stated specifically, the Steelers need to fix their practices. They need to change their attire. What does that mean? They need to change what they're wearing. So they specifically asked him again, does that mean you're going to wearing pads this week at practice? Tomlin said, yes. Padded practices this week. I guess they've been going light on them all year. We've been hurting groins without pads on. I don't know, like 18 groin injuries on this team, it seems like this season. But damn, that's one way maybe we can fix this defense, Jeffrey. Get the pads back on, hit these guys hard, make them feel what it's like to tackle somebody again. Kenny, sup guys? Good to hear you, Mr. Beamer. Always good to have you on the show, my friend. And as you see, we're in your new time here at 7 o'clock. If you guys are setting your watches, setting your alarms for Tuesday at 7, you know how to find us. Kenny always knows how to find us. Great to hear from you, man, as always. Chloe, let's go Steelers. Thank you, Chloe O'Neill over there, Facebook. Appreciate it. Here we go, Joe Young. Joe Green, comeback. I assume it's comeback, not cone back. But even at his age, I'm not against it. I can't say he wouldn't do a better job, but Cam Hayward isn't the problem. I don't even think the defensive line is the problem. I thought, well, other than having to have Hayward play in the middle, you had Loudermilk on the right, you put Wormley on the left. Now you're having Hayward try to play nose when he's the best, 3 to 5 tech in the league, and you have him playing in between the 0 to 3. That's not what he does. He came in to help the team. He tried to help the team last week. Say, I'll play in the middle. Will help us out. It didn't work. You got to put Hayden back at his spot. If you notice too, like Highsmith wasn't as effective as a pass rusher without Hayden without Cam directly in front of him. But yeah, sure. Let's bring back Joe Green. I'm all for it. Anything. Bring back Big Snack and let him eat while he's on the field. That could help us out. Who knows? We're just spitballing here, Steeler Nation. Jeff, we need to run a 2-back set. Watt lead block for Harris. Preaching to the choir, man. We've been calling on DJ Watt, Derek John Watt, to be able to run the football for us and at least play out in front. We need another playmaker on offense, and especially to help us out with blocking, because our offense is not doing a good enough job, the offensive line. Bring somebody else in, whether it's an extra tackle with Zach Banner, whether it's an extra tight end, you bring Kevin Rader up, or Derek Watt. Those are your options. And Derek Watt can't get enough touches, in my opinion. Can't get enough snaps, in my opinion. He needs to get more snaps on offense than 2, 1. Guy should be on 10 snaps minimum. 10 snaps minimum a game. It'll help out the running game. He can catch passes. He can even take the rock and run with it a little bit. The guy is talented, and we are not using his talents at all. It's tough too, though. I mean, we're not getting any openings, but I'm at least for trying it. Jeff. I agree with you there. I like that. I like that take. Jeff Totten coming in. We couldn't stop the run and passing game. Well, it's a good thing that we're facing a running back that happens to throw the football this week. That's Lamar Jackson. We are built to stop Lamar Jackson. We know how to beat Lamar Jackson. It's not difficult. Keep him contained. Force him to throw. We need Hayden back to do that. If we have Hayden back this week, it's going to be a tougher game for them to move the football on us. Stack the line, force him to throw, keep him in the pocket, and now you're committing everybody in the box. Everybody else one-on-one, maybe with one safety or one spy. That's how you got to play this team. You got to win your battles one-on-one in the secondary. Hayden's back. We can do that. Up front, we got to contain him, stop him from escaping the pocket. We don't. He's still a highly sacked quarterback because he will try to leave the pocket early and still get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. But we got to be smart about rushing the passer. You can't run off that edge and come all the way downfield, 5 yards behind the quarterback, trying to wrap back around to him, because he ain't going to be there. He's going to be running the other way. Highsmith, Watt, you got to know that. That's your job this week. Take care of business. Contain Lamar. Force him to throw. Force him to beat us with his arm. If he beats us with his arm, great job, Lamar. Great job. I can't fault him if he beats us with his arm. I'm not thinking that he's going to do it, though. I don't think he's good enough to beat us with his arm. If we have Hayden back. No, I just don't see it. Joe Young, Canada making bad decisions. Can't go up the middle every other play. I mean, we really didn't run the ball much, though, Joe. I mean, the game got away from us. I mean, it's frustrating and infuriating to watch as a Steeler fan. Same thing with the San Diego game. Game got away from us. because they're going down and scoring their first 3 drives, 5 for Chargers, but it's like a ping pong match. We're watching them up and down the field. Yay, we got an interception. Oh, we stopped them on a drive. Yay, we stopped. Oh, pick 6. Damn it. That was the first half. I just described the first half succinctly. Watching them go up in the field, score. Oh, we got an interception. Pick 6. That was the first half. Sucked. It was better than Chargers. Score. Chargers first half. My impression of how frustrating it is to watch the Steelers play first half football right now. Got to clean that crap up. Got to clean it up. But, when the execution is horrible, what else can we do? I mean, the offensive line needs to make sure we're not getting people back there. Needs to give Ben time. If we can't freaking run block, we got to pass block. Got to do one or the other. There you go, Joe Young. Good question here. When is Tuitt coming back? Fortunately today, Steeler Nation, they asked Mike Tomlin that very question today. He succinctly said, I'm not sure. I'm not ruling him out for the season yet, but I'm ruling him out for this week. So he's not ready to practice yet. That's all I can say. Sucks. Absolutely sucks. I like Loudermilk. He's developing nicely. He'll now be his second game back from being injured. Hopefully he'll be a little healthier this week and he can help out. Wormley's doing a solid job. I'm not upset with Wormley at all. Doing his job. Cam needs to go back to where he needs to be on the right end. And we need to find somebody else for that middle. Okay, let's talk about this now because it just popped in my head. Because I'm pretty damn sure Isaiah Buggs was inactive last game. Yep, Isaiah Buggs was inactive. Our starting nose tackle was inactive last game. Why? Why was he inactive? Well, past couple games, he's been making some great plays, but making some bad plays too. Overrunning things, not getting off blocks, getting caught in the wash. But he can make some good plays. So I think it might have been Cowher's week. It's not Cowher. Tomlin's week to be like, look, I'm going to bench you this week. You got to play better. We'll see if he comes back to be the starter again this week because, damn it, he's better than anybody else we tried to throw out there. Mondo. We haven't brought up the other Davis yet. Davis's brother, Carlos Davis is on. Still trying to work his way back from IR in the practice area, but he's got till the 8th, I think, to be activated, which is the Minnesota game. He's actually has to be activated the same day we play Minnesota, which is our next game on Thursday, or he's lost for the season. But I fully expect him to be activated. Still, that's the line. That's who we're dealing with. That's what we got to figure out nose tackle. I don't think that Adams guy that we just picked up is viable. He's got 50 games to his name, 50 total tackles. No, he's a guy. He's a guy that's trying to been being developed over the past 5 years. And are the Steelers the one that are going to develop him now? I don't know. Right now, we need more help than that. Kenny Beamer with a question. Harper Ferry Middle School played better than we did. I don't disagree. Are you in Harper's Ferry, Kenny? Because that's not far from me. I'm close to Frederick, man. I'm over in Mount Airy. So not far from Harper's Ferry if you're at Harper's Ferry, man. That's awesome. Great to hear. Jeff Totten back again. We never had an awesome offensive line to block for our runners. We had some good blocking offensive lines back when blocking was the key to running the football. We've gone from Hall of Fame center to Hall of Fame center to Hall of Fame center with a Hardings Hartwig in between Pouncey and Dermody Dawson, Dirt. And they were all excellent centers. Top of their craft. Sean Mahan was the worst lineman ever seen play center in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. Supposed to be a 4-year guy come in. We got rid of him after year 1. That guy didn't work out. But we've had some really great players. Hall of Fame Alan Faneca playing there for a lot of years. Steelers know how to run block. They did. They did know how to run block all up through the era where it just became a passing era. Now you have to have blockers that can play the run and the pass because it helps you more. It's easier to move the football in these rules in this league now by throwing the football. It's a throwing league now. It's not a running league. But it helps out like some of these teams start going back, committing to run and balanced attacks like Titans do, those types of teams. And then they become the aberration, and you got to figure out how to stop them. Same thing with Baltimore. They did the same thing. We're going back, committing to run, all tight ends. Drafted all tight ends that one draft. Drafted Lamar Jackson, running quarterback. Drafted all offensive linemen. Bam, they're a running team now. That's what happens. They were a passing team with Flacco. Flat out. It had a balanced attack when they had, Ray Rice back in the day when they won the Super Bowl, and before that, that's about it. That's about it. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Always good to get a laugh. This is the Steeler Nation therapy session, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk. We're going to get it off our chest. We're going to talk about this madness. We're going to try to move forward the way that only steel nerves can do. This is what we do, guys. This is what we do. We love our teams. Kenny Beamer. I remember I talked about this on the Colorcast last night. Ryan Clark said the whole team looked soft. He did. I don't know if you guys watched Ryan Clark's take. It was scathing. It was accurate. And you could tell it killed him to have to say it because of how much pride that man carries in his heart for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he wasn't wrong. Our team's soft. People on the other squads, he's saying, their top players, their top running backs, top wide receivers, calling up their wives, calling up their girlfriends, calling up their baby mamas. Hey, make sure you watch me this game. I'm going to win fantasy for my guys this week. Why? Because we got guys like Pierre trying to play corner in this league. Got guys like Edmonds trying to do something. I don't know what he's doing, running around a football field. Offensively, we can't get a push past 1 yard. That's it. If the line, like a great block, it seems like for this line is like if Najee doesn't get hit until he hits the 1 yard line. That's an awesome blocking assignment. Everybody else in the league, they're blocking the first line. You're hitting linebackers 4 or 5 yards down the field on an excellently blocked play. On a perfectly blocked play, you're hitting third level. You're hitting safety. I wish we could hit the third level. We haven't hit the third level in like 4 weeks in a running game. And it's infuriating. And Ryan Clark is dead on. Dead on. Got to be able to tackle in this league. Got to figure out how to tackle. You got to play with intensity. You got to hit them hard. That's what the Steelers did. That was the definition of Ryan Clark. Yeah, you might get a catch in front of him. Yeah, you might rip off a big run. But when he came up to hit you, he was going to make you rethink what it is, your decisions for being a football player. That's how hard Ryan Clark hit. That's how hard his partner Polamalu hit. That's how hard Harrison hit. That's how hard all of our linebackers hit back then. Make you think about it. Make you think about wanting to be a professional athlete. Oh, I'm getting a big play. Bam! I'm out. Do you see that this year? We'll push him out of bounds. We'll push him out of bounds. We'll tackle him from behind. Let's lay him down there nicely. Let's give him a pillow. Putting him down. Infuriating. And he's right. And Steeler fans know it. He was speaking as a fan and as an analyst and as an alumni who loves his team. We know they can do better. He knows they can do better. He knows Tomlin is not accepting of the performances they've been charting out here these past 2 weeks. Because it's downright embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Got to fix it. Absolutely have to fix it. Go! Jasmine Kenneth. How you doing, Jasmine? Jeff Totten back again. I'm tired of the Tomlin same old speech after we lose. What are you talking about? Got to do a better job. Got to execute. Everybody is to blame, including me. It stops with me. I'm the most to blame. Yeah, Tomlin, you are. You are. So that's essentially every press conference after we lose. I agree. Thank you. Ashley, how you doing, Ashley? Right now, we couldn't even tackle a dummy. Shake my head. It's like they completely forgot how to tackle. Agreed, Ashley. Yeah. All Steeler Nation agrees with you too. Jeff too. I mean, strong take, accurate take. Ryan Clark agrees with you. And we're not going to right this ship until our 11 do their job. Your job is to stay in your lane. Make the hits in your lane. Don't run and do somebody else's job for them. When you do that, we look like we're chickens with our heads cut off that whole game. People trying to make up for other people. It was abhorrent. Abhorrent to watch. Kenny! We need a big Casey Hampton in the draft. And the good thing is now, like, you can get a Casey Hampton guy in like the 5th, 6th, 7th round now. Like, those guys used to be first rounders. They used to be second rounders. The highest you're ever going to draft, like a 0 to 3 tech now, might be third round. Might be third round. If the guy is exceptional, maybe the second. I don't see it strictly a nose, and I'm not talking about interior alignment. You got excellent interior alignment. Those guys can go first round. They can go top 10. They can go top 3. I'm talking about a nose tackle specifically only. A nose tackle. A guy that plays 0 tech. A guy that's right there lined up on the center. Playing both sides of the center. Taking on 2 guys at the same time. Those guys don't go in the first round anymore. Just like fullbacks. They don't go in the first round anymore. They used to. Long time ago, back in the 70s. You can draft. You can pick up a fullback in the first round. Now, when are you picking up fullbacks? Day 3. You're never going to see a day 1, a first, second, or third round fullback ever drafted again. The league doesn't run the ball that way anymore. It's just the way it is. It's the way things progress. Nose tackle is now the new one. Sucks that we couldn't get Fletcher Cox back. Sucks that we couldn't get Hargrave back. That would have been awesome. Man. Because Hargrave could do it both. He was a unique guy that we got in the 3rd round that could stop the run and rush the passer. Love that. Out of the nose tech. That guy had great hands. Great hands and great base. And it's all about that base. He had great cake, as my brother tells me with his millennial lingo. Great cake on that bottom. Set his bottom. Nobody's pushing him around. That's the way to go. Mike Webster. Oh, anybody. Yeah, Webster. Those are all the great. Mansfield before him, man. Steelers have been rock solid at center. I don't know if Kendrick Green is the next guy. I don't know if he's the next Hall of Famer here at center. I will tell you, though, it took Webster 2 years before he became a starter. Took Dermetti Dawson 2 years to be a starter. Still learning behind Webster. Pouncey got jumped up quickly. He was a starter his freshman year with us, his rookie year. But, yeah, Kendrick Green's a starter out of the box, but is he the guy? I think he needs to put on some pounds. I think he's got the ability to put on some more weight. I think he can really... That might change it because he's already hyper athletic. That we drafted him because he was one of the most athletic linemen in this draft. And yeah, we see him getting pushed around a little bit by these bigger guys, but he's still a rookie. Let him play. Let him bulk up in the offseason, put on some pounds, add some size to that athleticism, and he might pan out. He might. He's not the reason I'm calling all that stuff, but thank you for at least making me think of Mike Webster and go off on a tangent. That's what the show's all about, Joe. See what tangent we can get Stryker on. Strikers are a confusing team. Preach on, my brother, Colton Gesser. Oh, man, Colton. They are confusing. It's the worst part of this team this year is like the 2 toughest teams that we played all season. Week 1, Buffalo at Buffalo. Bam! Hit him in the mouth. Won the game. Week 2, we lost everybody. Got our butts kicked by the Raiders. Week 3, everybody's injured. We get wrecked by the Bengals. We get everybody back. We stack 4 wins. 4.5 wins, technically. Since one was a tie. And now that we got to wear that tie, started losing. Now we're stacking losses. 2 losses in a row. We're on a 3-game winless streak after a 5-game non-losing streak. Because that tie is included in both of them. Bow tie. Damn it! We need those games. Those are the games you need. If you want to get to the playoffs, it's stuff like essentially Steelers have to win 5 out of their next 6 if they want to make the playoffs. I said 10 games is going to put them in the AFC, and I still stand by that because the AFC is crap. There isn't a dominating team in the AFC. Yeah, New England's playing well. They're playing well, but let's see when they start playing great teams. We'll see. We'll see when the playoffs hit, and they got to play playoff teams. Same thing with Indianapolis. Don't know who they are yet. They've got some good games. They've had some bad games. Kansas City, they started like crap. They're winning. They don't have a defense. Their defense is crap. Ravens have 3 games that they won on the last play of the game. And they're the best team, best record in the AFC right now. Top one, Ravens. 8 wins, I think, right? Could have 5 wins right now. If they didn't set an NFL record in Detroit with Justin Tucker for longest kick ever in the NFL, they would have had that loss. We would have faced a non-winless Detroit team, which would have given more weight to that tie, I guess. But yeah, they're confusing as hell, Colton. I'm with you 100%, man. I don't know where they are. Like, that was our best game there, and then coming off the bye, playing the Browns. That was our second best game of the season. That was a game we had to win. Tough matchup. Physical team. We out-physicaled the Browns in their house. We out-physicaled Buffalo in their house. And now we're getting pushed around by the Chargers. Freaking Chargers. Soft California dude. What are you going to do after the game? I might surf. I might just hang out, catch some rays. You know, we'll see. I might do some hacky sack with the guys. We'll see, man. They push us around. Freaking California boys pushed us around. That doesn't sit well with me. Does not. Yeah. Moving on. Totten, I still say we need an awesome offensive line. We're starting the process, Jeff. We're starting it. Drafted a new center, new left tackle, and a new tight end. These guys, it's a rookie year. They're going to be hitting the rookie wall here soon. That's another thing we got to start worrying about. When I talk to Banner, when I talk to, who was the other? Simmons, Kendall Simmons. These guys are saying the rookie wall is a real thing. And you hit it. You hit it right around week 14, 15, 16. Because you're not used to playing this long. You got 12 games, maybe a championship game, bring it up to 13, maybe a bowl game, 14. Yeah, maybe you get a couple more now that you got the playoff system. Playoffs? Now you got a playoff system. But normally, you're playing about 12 games a year. What do we have now? Got 17 games and 3 preseason games. That's 20 before you hit the playoffs. That's more games than you will ever play in college football, 20 games before you hit the playoffs. When the rubber hits the road and you need to be the best in the league when you hit playoffs to be able to advance. Yeah, it's going to be, we'll have to say, start watching Green, start watching more. If they start dropping, if they start making more mental mistakes, if they don't have the endurance, they can't keep up. Yeah, time to flop. Chooks over there, bring Banner out. Those types of things we got to watch. Yeah, it might be time to start bringing up J.C. Hassenauer. Have him snap. Well, he's hurt now. Damn it. He's on injured reserve. He's not going to come up for a bit. Tackling is a lost art. Ask Mr. Lambert. You're right, Joe. You're right. Robert Tam, Burrow. We've got a lot of big stuff. Love talking with Robert because he gets some great takes. So, G.Stryker, the 3 most important players and the 08 Super Bowl appearances and 6 Super Bowl wins was me and Joe Green, Joel Steed, and Casey Hampton. Big guys up front. Cam Hayward, dude, he's one of them. You can mention Cam Hayward in the same breath as those guys, the same breath as Aaron Smith, even though they might not have made I can't remember if they were the Super Bowl or Super Bowls or not. I think, yeah, Cam was in a Super Bowl. Is it? Damn. Now I got to look it up. You guys tell me. I'm not looking up crap. But yeah, big guy up front helps, especially, well, it's weird though, Robert. Like, now we're in a situation where it's passing teams are running on us. That's what's happening right now. And they're embarrassing us. Cincinnati's a passing team. They have 7 rostered wide receivers. Most teams carry 4 or 5. They have 7 rostered wide receivers. They're passing team. They have like 2 running backs. They're passing team. Same thing as San Diego. They're passing team. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. Robert again, above them, all importance for Steelers Super Bowl, Mean Joe Green, Joel Steeds, Casey Hampton. So you're right, having the importance of the Steelers having a great nose tackle. Correct. We have to have great nose tackles. It's the bread and butter of the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. And keep chiming in, guys, taking questions, taking comments. Get it all out. This is our cathartic moment for Steeler Nation. I'm going to talk about a couple things here that went over in the presser. Tomlin, one thing he said we stunk up the place. And we're going to have to wallow in our stench for a while before we play another game. And he's right. But it stinks. It stinks, Steeler Nation. Their performance stunk. Execution stunk. The heart stunk. The tackling stunk. Blocking stunk. Everything stunk. Team of skunks out there. Gotta get the stink off. We need tomato juice. Screw music at practice, Claypool. We need the tub and we need tomato juice. That's how we're going to get the stink off of us. Man. Infuriating. What did he say here? He said, that's the different press conference. Here it is. I just went off of that. Open to schematic and personnel changes moving forward. We're going to change up some personnel. We're going to change some scheme. He says that every time. You know, are we actually going to do it this time? They technically did change personnel this past week. They sat Bugs. Healthy Bugs, our nose tackle. They sat him. Teaching you a lesson, Bugs. We're teaching you a lesson. You sit there and you think about what you did. Bam. We had our worst running game ever. Bugs on the sideline. Man, that sucked. Absolutely sucked. Because those other guys were not the answer, and Hayward is not a nose tackle, and he never should be. Keep Hayward in the spot where he is disruptive every snap. Don't throw him at nose tackle. He can't play it. No, he can play it, but he's not as disruptive. He's a right end for us. That's a spot. Keep him there. Absolutely keep him there. Tomlin also letting us know, Steeler Nation, this is a ridiculously big game this week. Ridiculously big. Of course it is. It's the Ravens. We lose this game, we are upside down in the division. Because we will have a loss. 2 to Cincinnati, 1 to the Ravens. Best we could hope for a divisional record would be 500. 500. That's the best we could hope for a divisional record if we lose to the Ravens. We got to win out our divisional games to have a chance of winning the division, number one, and find a way to get more wins than Cincinnati. Or at least the same amount of wins, because we got that tie that at least them beating us twice in the same season doesn't wreck us. But we'll say it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't come into effect unless they had a tie too. That's one thing the ties are interesting about. Robert again, chiming back in. Both Kevin Colbert, Mike Tomlin are entirely culpable for this season's fiasco because they got rid of solid, reliable linemen, i.e. Filer, brought in all new line, whichever worked for any team ever. I assume he's saying which never worked for any team ever. And yeah, new lines can work. We were starting to gel a little bit there, Robert. We were doing pretty well when we had left to right Moore, Dotson, Green, Turner, Chooks, all playing together, all good before the bang-ups started happening, before we started getting a little banged up on that line. We were doing decently. We're seeing some marketed improvement. That's what you want to see out of a new line. Each week they're getting better. They were getting better. Getting better all the way up to about week 8. Now they're falling off. Dotson gets hurt. Don't have a guard. We didn't have a guard. We're putting a tackle on the field to play guard. And, that's the way it goes. But Filer, I was ready to move on from Filer. A lot of Steeler Nation was ready to move on from Filer. So much so that we wanted Dotson to start over Filer coming back those last few weeks. Colton and I talked about that on our podcast before. We were ready for Dotson. Dotson shouldn't, you shouldn't lose your job to an injury, but Dotson was playing it at a high level. Filer came back in and was playing injured, and it was not fun to watch. And I was ready to move on from Filer. I really was. I wasn't ready to lose DeCastro and Pouncey in the same season, and all Steeler Nation wasn't ready for that. We didn't know DeCastro was that bad. We were DeCastro was supposed to be back this year, but his ankle's messed. It's FUBAR. He's got a FUBAR ankle. It's never going to be back again. We wanted to move on from Filer, so that cascaded to the fact that we weren't expecting. We already moved on from Filer. Then Double D's like, peace out. Peace out. I can't play anymore. And I don't blame him. Those injuries are difficult for a guy with that frame. Start getting on with your life work, lose some weight, man. Be easier on those ankles and those joints moving forward, man. That's all we can ask for. Joe wants Munchak back. Yeah, I mean, grass is always greener, Joe. I thought we were doing a decent job this year. They like the offensive line coach. Banner loves his offensive line coach. He didn't like Sarrett. We talked off the air about Sarrett. He didn't want to say it on the air. Don't want to throw him under the bus, but off the air, he did not like Sarrett. He likes this new guy better. Well, he was on the team last year too, and he was backing up Sarrett because he's an actual line coach, and Sarrett was kind of a guy that got promoted underneath through the Munchak coaching tree, so to speak. But unfortunately, he was not Munchak. So, and that was Munchak's best job, was getting people lower in the draft ready to play. That was his number one thing. Undrafted players. Converted Villanueva, who was a defensive lineman for the Eagles, became a Pro Bowl left tackle for the Steelers. Those are the types of things that he can hang his resume on. And he did a great job with it. Did a great job for it. Robert again. So Colbert and Tomlin to try to do that has never worked for any other team in ever history, which is to bring in all the new offensive line, which means their choice to do is their fault. Okay, well, I don't know what that means. I mean, I've seen other teams rebuild their offensive line and kick ass. Ravens are one of them. They rebuilt their entire offensive line like two years ago, and they started throwing people all around 3 years ago. And then they started just destroying everybody at the line of scrimmage. Then they drafted, like, everybody's like, ha ha, look at them. They're drafting 3 tight ends in the same draft. Stupid. One of them actually is still there and playing at a high level, Anderson. The other guy was good, really good, but he did Henderson was the other one, and he was really good, but he just injury prone. And then the other one's a solid blocker. That's how you do it. You got it. Sometimes you got to rebuild in the draft when that's your weakness, and our weakness was offensive line because we knew Pouncey wasn't coming back. We knew we had to figure a lot of stuff. We knew Villanueva wasn't coming back. We knew Filer wasn't coming back. That first 4 picks offensive. That's how you start rebuilding, man. It might be a process now. We were expecting it to be this year. We're expecting Ben to be able to hold the fort, but when your line can't hold water, Ben can't hold it down. So hold it now, hit it. Any other hold it references I can make. Jeff Todd, I don't think if we win our division, we need to regroup for next season. I don't think if we win our division, we need to regroup for next season. Okay, so that's more of an optimistic view, I assume. So, yeah, I mean, it would, if we can find a way to stretch 5-6 wins through the rest of the season, it means we're starting to execute. Players are playing better. We're playing better on both sides of the ball. That's an optimistic thing to think about. Hopefully we'd be able to do something like that. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. Carlos Davis has a shot to being activated this week. We also asked Tomlin, speaking of nose tackles, when we know we picked up Adams, and I touched base on him a little bit, saying, he's probably not the answer. Played 50 games already, only has 50 tackles to his name, 1.5 sacks. Yeah, I mean, nose tackles don't have to get sacks to be disruptive, but Tomlin said he has to learn the system first before we can put him on the field. Probably not optimistic that Adams is going to get a chance to play in this upcoming game. And don't hang a Superman cape on anybody we pick up off of somebody's practice squad, free agency, to be able to come in here and fix what we have. Hell, look at the Rams. They ripped off 2 huge pickups before the frickin' trade. Bringing in their big quarterback, bringing in Von Miller, bringing in OBJ right after the trade deadline. What have they done? They haven't won a game since. They're 0-3. Jeez, I mean, I wanted OBJ in the locker room. At least I could have blamed it on him. Maybe he could be with Claypool being like, yeah, we need more music. Coach, we need more music. Tickety tick tock tock, tickety tock tock, ticky tock tock, ticky tock. Ryan Clark knows what's up. Players are more interested in TikTok, dancing, smiling for the camera than they are in playing football. That's what he's saying. He's calling them soft. Can't disagree, Ryan. Can't disagree. Sure, they got good smiles. They got great dentists. Juju always had a great dentist, but Juju hit. Juju played hard. I expect that out of Claypool. I expect him to play a little harder. I mean, DJ's doing it. Guys, he's doing it this year. Dropped more balls in the NFL than any other player ever last year. This year, no drops. None. We're over halfway through the season. DJ is our star. Honestly, he's my MVP. The game we didn't have him, that Cincinnati game we didn't have him, we couldn't move the football the first time we played Cincinnati week 3. We had Washington trying to play the X. We couldn't move the football because DJ wasn't out there. DJ's a 10-target guy because he gets open. He's shown up. Pat Freiermuth is showing up now. He's going to be our leader moving forward. Hopefully another Heath Miller-esque type leader from that tight end spot because we haven't had one there in a while. Look to Steelers maybe try to pick up another tight end in free agency to help us out, and that would be a good move. Hopefully one that can stretch the field as well as block because Ebron could only do one, not the other. But I did like the way that this tight end room ended up rounding out. Cream rose to the top on who could block. Ended up being Freiermuth and Gentry. Not Ebron. We all knew Ebron couldn't block. That's not a surprise. Everyone here knows Ebron couldn't block. Juju goes down. That's why I'm like, at least we got Eric Ebron because now he can play Juju's role of big slot. Banged up, trying to come in, has one game, has a great game. Banged up, come back, has another game, has another good game. Now he's banged up, he's out on IR again. So, don't think he's going to return. Not hanging on my hat for him to return, but he was going to be that Juju Smith-Schuster big slot role for us because we didn't need him to block anymore. We didn't. And he fit a role. Fit a role that we needed. A tough guy in the middle catching footballs. We don't have that right now. We just don't have it right now, other than maybe Freiermuth. That's about it. Oh, it's the first one. I'll go with your first one here, Robert. So I don't want to jump over your ideas and your thoughts because I like the way you think. I enjoy talking with you. We enjoy agreeing and disagreeing and enjoy to agree to disagree on certain stuff. But coming back in camp, Cameron Canaday beat Kuntz for long snapper, and Jordan Berry beat out Harvin for punter, and BJ Finney beat out Dotson, and JC beat out Green. Robert Spillane beat out Bush. Haig beat out Dan. You obviously have not been reading Alex Kozura's training camp diaries, Robert, because the only one that was close out of the ones that you're talking about, Kuntz and Canaday were close. Jordan Berry and freaking Presley were close. Presley has the most impressive game I've ever seen for a punter in the preseason. It's that game that he punted 4 times, punted 4 different ways. One was a reverse kick that they downed inside the 5. One was a skyrocket that everybody was around him inside the 10 couldn't return him. It was like a 50-some yard punt. Then he had that line drive punt that forced a fumble that the Steelers recovered. And then he had the distance punt, 60-yarder. He showed he could punt all 4 ways in that game. All 4 ways, did it at a high level, was perfect. Perfect on all of his holds. And his upside, honestly, is better than Berry. Berry's a great punter. Don't get me wrong. I thought he's done nothing but improve every year he's been with the Steelers. And Steelers have been trying to replace him every year they've had Berry. And Presley's going to have a higher ceiling than Berry. This year, yeah, we might be wrong this year, but you can't tell me that Cameron Canaday would have made a difference for Kuntz because he hasn't screwed up a single snap. No issue. You can't say BJ Finney was beating out Dotson when BJ Finney can't even beat out a tackle to be a starter at guard. That drove me nuts. He can't even beat out J.C. Hassenauer. BJ was supposed to be the starting swing guard. You can't tell me a guy that's like 5th or 6th on the depth chart right now, guy we have healthy inactive on game days, was beating out Dotson. He wasn't. Dotson would have been our best player on the line last year. And he sure as hell wasn't an issue this year. And JC just, I think he's a good center in spurts. I don't think he's an answer. I think he has his own problems he'd be showing if he was the starter as well. And Spillane did not. Spillane, that one might have been definitely happened because we were talking about Bush wasn't even playing in the preseason. So, yeah. I mean, he came back late in the preseason. Of course, Spillane was outplaying him because Bush wasn't there. He's rehabbing his knee. Got back in, worked in, got good enough to start, and then hurt his groin. That's what happens with those injuries because your groin is bad. And Haig beat Dan. I don't see that one either. Just don't see it. Don't see it. I'll give you the punter duel. That one you could honestly argue the snapper duel, but the rest of them I just personally don't agree with those. So Tomlin is lying if he says he starts guys who won the job in training camp and has cost his team losses. I don't know. I don't know if Tomlin said that. If he did, okay. But to me, that's not the issue. I don't think these guys that you think should be starting are better. Maybe like my argument, I can see your argument for Spillane getting more snaps. And I said that when his groin injury was apparent by week 2, week 3. I thought Spillane should be, because Spillane came in that Cincy game in week 3 and he was the best player on the field. He was honestly the best player on the field. And he was playing with his hair on fire that game. I'd like to see him get more chances, but unfortunately now Spillane is hurt. We'll have to see if he can make it back. It's a knee injury. We'll have to see. Rick Giddings, I'd rather us not win another game this season and sneak into a top 9 pick. Might happen. We're at a crossroads, Steeler Nation. We can either go up or we can go down from this moment. Or we can just go 500. We go 3-3. To finish up at 8-1 for Cat and 500 and Tomlin's record intact. Yeah. I mean, there's pluses and minuses to everything. Obviously, you're playing to win. If we don't win another game, it's not because we're tanking, Rick. It's because the teams we're playing are good. Our schedule coming up, we got some great teams. We got Ravens twice. We got Kansas City. We got Cleveland. I got to look up the schedule. I know they have 2 more. Tennessee. Tennessee's the other one that just popped in my head. Remember, and the Vikings. That's it. Vikings are your only winnable game. Like, easily a team on par that we should expect to win, or we should win the game, would be against the Vikings. Now I'm not sure because I don't know what team we're going to be putting out there. We got a shot of going 0-6 these next 6 games. We got a shot of going 6-0. Who knows? Crazier things have happened with teams winning out down the stretch. And if they do, look out. If they lose out down the stretch, it helps us out. It helps us out being a young team, being rebuilding, moving on from Roethlisberger, which we are going to do at the end of the season. This is Roethlisberger's last year, guys. A couple people are like, oh, he's coming back. He'll come back one more year. For what? To help a team rebuild? It's time to move on from Ben. It's time for Ben not to have to get his butt kicked because we're trying to rebuild an offensive line. And that's tough. And I appreciate every million he gave up to come out and do that with us. Jeff Totten. We had time to regroup since our last Super Bowl. No excuse. We had our chance last season and blew it. Shake my head. Yeah, we were doing well last season too. I know a ton of injuries hit us last season as well when we came out on fire. Getting injured at the end of the season is a lot worse than getting injured at the beginning of the season. Ravens got injured at the beginning of the season. They worked through it. They developed those players. They got them ready to play, and they're doing well. Hats off to what the Ravens are doing. We're getting injured late in the season. Now, it's technically the middle of the season. We got 6 more games. Okay, it's not over yet. But still. But we were strictly just a passing team. We did not have a running attack at all last year. We were one-dimensional on offense. And I didn't think I wouldn't have been, even if we got to the unless we got to like the postseason undefeated, I don't know if that one-dimensional approach can win you all of your football games, every single football game. It was tough. They were executing it well first 11 weeks, and then people get better at playing against it when that's the only thing you can do. When you're a one-trick pony, time to rein in that one-trick pony when you can figure out that trick, and the Ravens figured it out against us and laid the blueprint Everybody in the box, play everybody tight, bump and run, short passes. Here we go. Let the long, who cares? That's how they beat us. Rad Rob, how you doing, Rob? It's been a while, man. Point is that the spirit of the Steelers team is squashed when players see Tomlin start Jarvis Landry types who we hope will eventually be better, but who in camp did not beat out the guys Tomlin benches. I will agree with you on Jarvis Landry. I can't defend him on Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry was dog crap. Absolute dog crap. It was a bad pick. We tried to get value. We tried to make him work, but he didn't. Out of the league pretty soon. It's an instance, but we've got instances where our players worked out. Claypool, DJ, Najee, Pat Freiermuth. Well, yeah. I mean, defensively, TJ Watt. We drafted him after Jarvis. He worked out. Drafted Highsmith after Jarvis. He's working out. You know, you can't just put all the blame for all of your angst on one freaking player in a bad move, because they had a lot of stuff work out too. They did. And this team has more pluses than minuses. And it's not like a Detroit team that's used to seeing more minuses than pluses. And personnel scheming, roles like that. Same thing with the Browns. Browns are getting a little bit more pluses now, though, especially defensively. Brian Brown, how you been, Brian? Been a while, man. Oh, man, we just missed another tackle. Who we calling for to be fired today? So far, the offensive line coach, Canada, and Tomlin. Nobody mentions Butler. Butler should be mentioned. Guys, number one tackle. That's up to your defensive coordinator to make sure that your team can tackle when you're out on a football team. You know, something they've been doing since grade school. Tackle. Because, man, I don't even know if they're calling for Colbert yet. I don't think anybody's saying fire. I said one person earlier said Colbert and Tomlin were a problem, but yeah, you know, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to Colbert. To me, Colbert can stay as long as he wants. He finds talent. He found a lot of talent for us this year. Starting 5, have a starter punter, have a starter in and then rookie starting snapper, maybe a starter developer here with Trey Norwood. But man, he's a 7th rounder. 7th rounders are, you know, the best. Harvin equals Jarvis Landry. Kuntz equals Jarvis Landry. Green equals Jarvis. Really? No. Jarvis Landry couldn't do anything. Harvin. Oh, the punter. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should have tried Jarvis Landry out at punter. He might have been a better punter. He might have been a better long snapper. He was definitely not a good linebacker. I will agree with you there, Rad Rob. I will agree with you there. But no, Kuntz. I don't know your angst with Kuntz. Dude does his job. You know, not killing him for that one. Not killing him for that one. And Bush, I'd rather have Bush than Jarvis Landry. I'd rather have anybody of those. I'd rather have, okay, let's play this game. Who would you rather have than Jarvis Landry? And I've got to go deep. I've got to go deep here in this game. Because there's a lot of teams. I'd rather have Edmonds than Jarvis Landry. Who you guys know I'm not a big fan of Edmonds. And that's close. But Jarvis Landry he didn't do much. Jarvis Jones, yes. Yes, Rick, he probably did mean Jarvis Jones. Right here, right now. He meant Jarvis Jones. That's no other place he wants to be. Watching the defense wake up from this crap that we're watching right now. Jarvis Landry was on another team, and Landry Jones was our backup quarterback. Yes, because I can get stuck in like word association mental prison there. So thank you for getting it out of there, Rick Giddings. Kudos to you. You win. You Steeler Nation today for the comment section helping me pull out of there. Brian Brown, I remember a season like this. The Buses last season, in fact, that ended all right. The Steelers can turn it around. I have faith, and that's right. We looked like crap. I just read Cower's book too, Heart and Steel. Great book. I highly recommend the read. Highly recommend it. If you want to see what a coach, like everybody thinks, oh, I could coach. I could be a head coach. Read Cower's book. Then I knew. I'm a pretty smart guy. I can't be a head coach. There's so much more to being a head coach than just calling plays. Way more. And he can't even call plays. He had a great story about when he tried to come out and Gilbride, that he was done with Gilbride. He's like, I'm going to call the offensive plays this game. And he called the game, and he's like, he couldn't even keep up. The game was moving too fast for him. Players didn't know what the play was because he was taking too long to get it in, because you got to think 3 plays ahead when you're offensive coordinator. You do. It's a really tough, thankless job. But Tomlin gave credit. He's like, I cannot do that. Cannot do that. But there is time to turn it around. We were looking bad that year going into that Chicago game, and that Chicago game was the statement game for the Steelers that season. We're going to commit back to the run. We're going to start kicking some ass. We're going to hit hard on defense. We're going to hit hard on offense. That's Steeler football. We've seen it a couple times this year. We've seen it in Buffalo. We've seen it in Cleveland. We know it exists. It exists. Just got to do it every damn week. Can't have should have been doing it against Cincinnati. Oh, gosh, Cincinnati. Ugh. It's tough now for me to have to be like, Cincinnati owns us now. They've won the last 3. Last 3 or last 4. Cincinnati owns us now. Oh, that hurts. Art Burns was a much worse pick than Jarvis Jones. Agreed. I agree with that. So was Golson. Never played a snap for us, which sucked because he looked like he could have been good. He had the measurables. Funny thing was, though, we got his defensive backmate from the same college ended up being Mike Hilton, which I have been said all last year, all offseason, your number one priority, Mike Hilton. Number one priority. And when you can retain a playmaker on defense for under $5 million a season, roll up the Brinks truck, man. You can't tell him he wouldn't have stayed here for $4 million. That's a deal for Mike Hilton. Absolute steal. Plus, you have an extra linebacker that knows how to tackle, that knows how to hit hard, that can set a tone for the rest of these guys. Help them out. That Hilton loss, that might be the biggest loss on this defense, was losing Mike Hilton, because we still really don't have a replacement. And it's been, committee, a lot of rotation, Sutton coming in, Mullet coming in, Norwood coming in. Some games it works, some games it doesn't. It's just the way it goes. Just the way it goes sometimes. Jeff Totten coming back. I agree. Big Ben has to go. He wants to go out in flames, but I don't see it. I want to take time and help the other quarterbacks. Yeah, it's going to be tough moving on from Ben. We can't be the Chargers. The Chargers always have quarterbacks. Fouts, Humphreys, Breeze, Rivers, now Herbert. Man, Chargers are rich at quarterback. They're a blessed franchise at finding quarterbacks. Steelers are not. We got Bradshaw. We got Roethlisberger. That's it. Whole lot of meh in between. A whole lot. O'Donnell might have been the best one outside of that. A couple of years when we were letting Stewart be Cordell Stewart, be Slash back there, make plays. I mean, that was fun to watch. He had some chances. Last couple questions here, couple comments. Rad Rob, if we gave Coach Tomlin credit for winning the 1 Super Bowl 2 decades ago, then why not also give Coach Tomlin the blame what the last 11 increasingly worsening years? Sure, go ahead. He'll take the blame. He'll take the blame for that. But yeah, you've got to give him the credit too for winning that Super Bowl and making it to 2. Too bad they didn't win that last one. Thanks, Mendenhall. Thanks, Ben, with the pick 6, but that's the way it happens. Brian Brown, but if you shave, do you have the cower chin? That's the question. I think this is how I get the cower chin, by not shaving. I can grow a cower chin. My favorite thing, this is just a quick aside, my favorite exact thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers organization was when Coach Cowher left the team and they brought in Steely McBeam with that frickin' chin. So the chin has never left Pittsburgh ever since Cowher joined the team in the late 90s. That was just so comical to me. It's like Cowher with a 2x4 running around. Don't anybody else make that visualization? I do. I definitely do. Jeff Totten. Watch out now for Edmonds in my hometown, Danville, Virginia. Awesome. Danville. Love Danville. What was it? Three Witches Brewery Winery. I've been there. I think that's Danville. They have a fun place. Nice big open wood floors. Lots of fun games. Lots of great people to talk to. Danville's good town. Good town to go in for a beer. Good town to go in for a nice plate of food. It's in the middle of nowhere. They got some races down there every once in a while. Every once in a while, I open up a Walmart or something. I'm down there, but it's a good town. Good part of the country. I like that. Rick, Jeff, go wake up his that's up because he's been asleep in the D backfield. Yeah, that happens. Brian Brown, seems like every ex-Steelers player in the league has made a play against the Steelers this year. Well, it happens when you let some of them go. But, it's the law of averages. You got to think about it, too. They leave the Steelers. It's like any other team player that leaves comes to your team and plays against their team. They want to play as hard as they can against a team that said, okay, we don't want you anymore. Good luck with the rest of your future. Of course, they want to play hard. They're going to give their all, more than their all. They have more incentive to play harder against their old team. So that's the way it goes. Tomlin's multiple rebuilds of the Steelers over the last 11 years not only show that this team are progressively getting worse, also reveals you're one side in this, man. I'm sorry, Rad Rob. 17, 18, 19, we were a pretty offensively insane team. We had a good defense as well. Shazier going paralyzed didn't help us out at all. So, no, I'm not going to agree with you on that. Just not. Yeah, I'm not on the stink wagon. I don't live on the stink wagon. O'Donnell is colorblind. Yeah. Perhaps he shouldn't have thrown the interception. Fundamentals, people. One of my favorite Sports Center commercials ever by Berman. Chris Berman. Funny dude. Yes. And last comment, I was born in Danville, grew up in Roanoke. Like Roanoke too, man. Tons of breweries down there too. Not a fan of Devil's Backbone, though. I like more of the smaller breweries they got around town. But Devil's Backbone was a little bit farther north. So, guys, that's all the time we have on the Steeler Nation Vidcast. Steeler Nation Vidcast. Your Steeler Nation Vidcast. Part of the Big Play Network. Sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises. I'm your host, G.Stryker. You can see me. We're going to have the next podcast coming out on DK Pittsburgh Sports. It'll be releasing at 5 o'clock. The premiere of the vidcast will be at 6 o'clock on the DK Pittsburgh Sports YouTube page. So all fun's coming. No interviews this week. No big people coming in this week, but we're going to have a lot of fun conversation. And I'll be venting a lot, getting ready for this game coming up against the Ravens, because that's what I'm going to be focusing on this week for this podcast. So be talking to you guys soon. Thanks for everyone, guys. You guys make this podcast my favorite podcast, my favorite vidcast, my favorite form of interacting. I do a color cast on Mondays at 7. I do the vidcast at 7 on Tuesdays. And then I pre-record the podcast that releases on Fridays for DK. But this is the most fun because I get to talk to all of you. Love hearing your opinions. Positive, negative. We get the whole gambit, and this is the way it goes. Love having you back, too. And we'll talk to everybody back again, too. Coming back. We'll see you soon, Steelers. And as always, I will be rooting along with you as always. Win or lose. Hopefully we can find a way to win, though. Because I will be in Pittsburgh this week with my boys. So hopefully we can win. But until then, I will be rooting along with you as always. Go Steelers!